Alright everybody, welcome back to the next video in our van build series. This one is basically finishing out the interior. So if you followed along from the beginning, we showed every step of the way from just a brand new bare cargo van to where we are today. So we're getting close to the finish line. We're about 3/4 of the way there. There's just a few more things we need to do. Alright, so yesterday, didn't get it on film, but I got this factory rear transit seat installed. So this would come out of a passenger van, a single seat. It's going to be nice right here. We're going to have a table on a swivel mount. That way these two can turn around and there is effectively a dinette area. You can hear the heaters revving up. It's my V-Lit gasoline heater. Kind of got in this area here. So what I'm going to be doing is I will be just building a little area here for some cup holders and storage next to the seat. And I haven't decided yet if I want to like finish off the area underneath, but I did have to kind of custom make some brackets here. So the factory transit seat, depending on which ones you get, this one only had a full mount on this side and then a single leg on this side because it's meant to bolt to another seat out of the side. So I had to weld out of some square tube a leg onto this side of the seat, and then these are just a couple of factory transit mounts type that kind of go in and then bolt down into the back. So these go down through the floor. They're bolted all the way through the steel with grade 8 hardware. That way if you're in a crash or something, these aren't going to go anywhere. The seat belt is built into the seat. On our last build we kind of made our own seat, but this just looked really good because it matches obviously the interior colors of the factory. Alright, so I'm going to be doing just a few little things. Trimming a lot of stuff out. We're going to get covers on. I've got to like terminate a lot of wiring ends, cover plates. We do have some doors we need to build for here and here. And then a drawer cover for the drawer that I made for in there. I'm going to get the countertop installed. And basically what we have left is a lot of trimming out. All the main wall coverings are done. Took about 3 coats of paint on the shiplap, even though it was already primed, just because you have to like sand out all the imperfections, fill the nail holes, sand them again, fill them again. It takes a little while. Still need to finish the cabinets, put all the hardware on them. And then I wanted to show you what we're doing back here. Still kind of working on this area, but we really don't want to just obviously leave this uncovered and ugly metal. So we're building this wood, basically casing. There's a little axis here just to the factory wiring, and it will have a trim piece that's put over that. And then obviously the corners will be trimmed, just see what it looks like, and then that wiring is going to be covered there. But basically we cut this strip of wood along this profile here, and then there'll be a board that is glued. You can see we already tried it, but right here, just kind of up to this area, and then we'll caulk all these lines where they meet, that way everything looks good, because transit is a constant curve. It's kind of hard to finish this area, the front area, a lot more so than like our ProMaster that we did. So far I'm pleased with how this is looking. I think once it's finished and it's all painted, it's going to look great. Obviously we need to finish framing the bed and then get the plywood on the top of the bed. So there's a couple different ways to build this style of bed. A lot of people, they drill a bunch of holes in the plywood, and then what that does is, you know, it allows moisture to not be trapped under the mattress. That's a good idea. What we have had good success with is actually insulating the bottom of the wood, the plywood that goes over the bed. That way there is not an extreme temperature difference between the two, and then you don't need to drill the holes. And the secondary benefit of that is it blocks sound from down below. So the fan on the inverter running, possibly. That will all be in a cabinet. Things like that. It helps block that sound when you're sleeping. That way you don't hear things clicking on and off that keep you awake at night. And it prevents moisture or condensation. So we never had a problem doing it that way, just insulating it. Alright, so we still need to trim out around the microwave and the fridge. And I didn't talk about this a whole lot in the last video. You just saw us get this in place. But this is a cheap microwave that I found. I've got it positioned so it can't move forward or backwards. I built like kind of a custom wood mount behind it that just kind of holds it in place. And these screws hold the front in place. They can't allow it to slide forward or backwards. And what I'm going to do is, when you trim this out, you have to understand that the microwave has to have airspace all around it, because it's got a lot of hot air that's going to be coming out of there. It's a microwave. So you have to leave that gap. So the trim will just kind of barely cover the sides and make it look finished. Around the fridge, there's really nothing to do on this side. So it should be nice, because this is a 4.5 cubic foot that you can just get at Home Depot. Uses very little power, only about 40 watts, and that's when it's running on the inverter. Got a nice size freezer and a nice size fridge, lots of storage in the door. So I think it's going to work out really good. Also, I've got the bathroom trimmed out. I need to get the shower door put up. I needed to come in and get all this caulked with the OSI Quad Max, which we've got done. And kind of finishing up the area on the inside here, getting it painted, caulked, so it looks good. And then moving on to this area, obviously we already got our controls for our inverter, our battery monitor in. This is where our water tank monitor is going to go, right here. So this whole area will just kind of be like the monitor center, and then a tank heater switch is going to go there. So I need to get this wired in. Everything's in place, all the wiring necessary. I just got to get it wired up and pushed in. Alright, so I'm working back in this cabinet. Now when I did my wiring, I pre-ran a wire from here to the second switch there. It just flips it on. And what I like to do in vans that I build is put a set of these RGB strip lights. They have a remote control, so you can change the pattern and the colors and all that stuff. But the way I did these cabinets, I recess this behind here so you cannot see the LEDs at all. And then it just projects up onto the white ceiling, so you get this neat glowing effect. And it'll go all the way down the cabinets. So it's really nice in the evening. Alright, so I've got countertop in, sink in. I'm just going to use silicone to glue it down. So I installed a soap dispenser and this button here, which will control the water pump. This is probably the hardest thing on the van build so far, drilling through this stainless steel. Required a couple step bits. It's really good stainless steel, even though I wouldn't recommend this sink for some other reasons. But so speaking of the water pump, talked about this a little bit in an earlier video, but basically I use a water pump controller. Alright, so I just stuck the fuse in temporarily. So this right here is the water pump controller, and there will be a link in the description to where to buy it. It's not that expensive. And you could just put a regular on-off switch somewhere that directly switches the current, but on high current loads, it's better to use like a relay type of setup. And this uses a momentary switch. So at night, this is dimly lit at all times. And when you turn on the pump, you can see it lights up. Now, the nice thing about these switches is you can put as many of them in as you want. And this is just a momentary switch. So it's not latching. It just, when you press the button, it momentarily closes the contact. And that cycles the switch on. So for instance, the reason this is good is I'm also going to have another switch in the back because there's going to be the outdoor shower. We always turn the water pump off when we're not using it, because leaving it on and getting a leak while you're not in the van is a recipe for disaster. So you can put as many switches as you want, or as you would need in different locations. So I'll have one here and one in the back. And they will both, you could turn on the water here, and then you could turn it off back there. You don't have to turn it off here. That's why it's kind of nice. Larger RVs employ switches like this. That way, if you're outside, you can remotely turn on the water pump to run water. It's just a little detail that adds kind of a nice effect to the overall build. All right, so moving on to the next thing. Stow-it Nautilus shower door. Very popular for van builds. You can order custom sizes. You can get, which take, about 3 or 4 weeks for them to make and ship to you. Or you can pick from standard sizes. I had to order a custom one, even though it was a standard size, because I wanted the frosted door with stripes. You can go on their website and kind of look at the different options, but these are really simple to install. This one is just barely going to fit in the opening here, hopefully. And what's nice about them is they maintain a lot of space. You don't have to worry about a shower curtain coming out and water coming on the floor. And then when you close, or I should say open the shower door, it squeegees all the water off of itself as it rolls in. That way you don't have any mold or moisture problems. So pretty neat system, really easy to install. This large side includes some double-sided tape. It just sticks in place, and then there's just a few other things you need to screw into place, and then obviously you seal it from the inside really well with the same caulking that you use everywhere else. Alright, so probably the most important thing I'm going to be installing on the fridge here, since this is just a regular residential style 120 volt fridge, there's no locks to keep the doors shut while you're traveling. So it has the reversible doors. So make this neat little contraption right here that bolts on, and then this will lock the doors. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of options because I have very limited room on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and get this installed, and I'll show you how it works. Alright, so this wasn't quite long enough this way because close the fridge, there's this little recess area here. So what I need to do is extend this pin so it looks like that. It's just a little rubber cap. So I'm going to do is I'm going to grind the paint off of there. Probably just take a little bit of a bolt that's the same size and either weld it or use some JB weld. Let that set up, and then I'll put pin cover back on. That way it will extend down far enough to grab this, to keep this, because it did hold it shut, but it was still able to move about an inch, and we don't want it to come open while we're driving. The secondary thing is in the winter, when it's in storage, you can put it out like this and it'll keep the doors open. Alright, so you saw there, just working up in this cabinet here. So getting some stuff wrapped up.
I'm starting to do some finishing things. So this is all part of the internet security system. So this right here is just a small DVR that will run the cameras that are on each side of the van. I'll show you more about that later. And then this is a MoFi wireless router. It's got a SIM card inside, so it'll be LTE and Wi-Fi connection. That'll run all the time in the van. Alright, then you see, so get the back a little more finished, trimmed out. It still needs caulked and painted and everything. Get a little more trim on the walls. I did decide that I'm going to put another one of these lights on the other side of the bed just to have one on each side. And then the shower door is installed now. So you can kind of see how it looks. Everything's a mess right now, but not only do I have the lights up here installed, but then I got these accent lights under the counter installed. And they're on a dimmer. It doesn't actually flicker like that. This trim piece for the microwave here. Alright, so as we work to finish up this section of the build, it's just finishing a lot of little details. So getting the doors fitted that we made. And then cutting a hole for fire extinguisher. So we're using this here. We'll go in there like that. That way it'll just recess nicely right there. So here's the piece I made for the back. See here in a second what all of this is for. But this is for the plumbing side. I already have the electrical side. Then we installed these tracks. We're ready to paint right now. There's these little tracks right here. We're going to have sliding doors on this side. And there's no reason to get in here on a regular basis, so we're just going to have a wooden panel that screws in place to cover the water area. Alright, so I've got the plumbing done. You can see I did the tank. So we've got the freshwater intake and then the vent line, which comes up to the highest point. Plumbed in the 2 PEX lines to the cold. Then I used a braided stainless line to connect the hot. And this is the quick shower. It's made by Durafaucet. These are pretty nice. It's got just a standard spray nozzle with all your different settings. I had one of these on my last van, and then the quick connect hose that you can like store in like a pocket on the door or something. This just quick connects into there. Then you have an outdoor shower, which is real nice. So this right here is our second water pump switch. And this is a sight window, so there is the light that I installed in there. So when you're filling this up with water, you can keep an eye on the level in the tank visually, just using the freshwater fill. That way you don't overfill it. Obviously the gauge is up front, but it's easier just to
visually see it. And then this is the spot where I'm going to reach through, since this will be blocked off, so I can control the dump valve and open this valve to let water flow to the water pump. So I'm pretty pleased with how that came up. And then this side is done being painted. Just got to get all the trim on it. Did add a little 12-volt cigarette lighter outlet right here. Just the light switch. Alright, so I've got table in. This one does fold down. Got a little storage cubby, armrest. Got the Thetford curve porta potty on the teak floor in the shower. Getting the stove in. Just wrapping up all the little final details. But I'm not going to give you the full reveal until the final video where we do the full reveal. But you can see, just need to get that painted. We just cut the foam mattress to fit the little nooks on the corners there. Since it was a nice day, I decided to paint the wheels black. It's gonna be a lot better than those factory gray looking wheels. Then here's how the electronics cabinet kind of turned out. So I kind of like how it works. Put magnets on it, so it just kind of locks in place. That way when we're driving down the road, it won't just come open. So I have easy access to everything. And then you can see how the ventilation holes look. Alright, well I think I'm going to wrap up this video here. The final build out video in the series. Next up will be our reveal of the finished product. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video, comment questions below. Thanks for watching. Till next time, we'll see you later.